Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your gameplay for the J35D struggle bus. The Draken. This is a rank 7, battle rating 10.7 jet fighter for the Swedish air tech tree. This is a very fast aircraft. It is very powerful. It's got great rate of climb, great turn time, great overall performance, and it features two 30mm cannons with 100 rounds each and 4 RB-24J missiles. So these are very powerful, this aircraft is. The only problem is that the cannons do not have tracers, which makes it a little bit difficult to actually aim, and the missiles do, well, not the missiles, but rather this plane cannot really defend against missiles unless you really outmaneuver the missiles because, of course, you do not have countermeasures, making this possibly the highest BR jet in-game without countermeasures. But either way, I've done very well with it. I like it a lot, and I'm going to be using this skin if I, probably throughout the majority of it. Might even switch over to the red one. It's a really cool skin. Also, standard skin's really cool. I mean, every single skin on this plane looks really cool, including even the Austrian Air Force skin. I really like that one as well. And the Splinter skin's really cool as well, but that also kind of looks like the Vigan skin. But anyways, the J35D banana boat skin, that is what I'm going to be doing. Anyways, let's get into a few matches here, see what we could do, and maybe scrape up a few wins here or there. Okay, so being that we're in the sky and getting real close, seeing some first fighting, let's go over some of the strengths and weaknesses of this bad boy. And, I've played this plane a lot. A lot of people dislike it. I called it the struggle bus when I first got into the, the video. But I really don't see it that way. I think it's actually an excellent aircraft, despite the fact that it lacks countermeasures and some of the other creature comforts that a lot of other planes might have, like flaps, for example. So you can see on the bottom left or in the bottom center, I don't have flaps. What you see is what you get, essentially, with this aircraft, which isn't, again, too much of a problem. At least not in my opinion. You can maneuver with this thing perfectly well, and I still have a great time with it. So, whoa, getting some funky ping here. Oh, man. Got him. Okay, that was... I don't know what just happened there. Woo! So, anywho, getting back to it, let's just go over some of the strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I got an aircraft behind me, too. I'm going to launch on this F-14. Hopefully he doesn't notice me. You always want to, kind of launch up ahead of him for a favorable launch. I don't think I'm going to hit him. And if you can launch behind them, that's also typically very good, because it will tend to ignore their missiles at that point, or their flares rather. But anyways, back to the gameplay. So some of the strengths and weaknesses, as I mentioned before, this thing has absolutely fantastic performance. Oh, and don't really mind the anti-hype, so to speak. Whoa. Don't mind the haters, so to speak. I hate using that term, hater. I'm just gonna launch this. Okay, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We crushed them, but I think it's because they had two people kind of die right in the beginning before the match even started. Anyways, again, strengths and weaknesses, 3-kill match, none too shabby. So, wow, okay. It's incredibly fast, got great maneuverability, good cannons, and 4 RB-24Js. Now, weaknesses. It has, when it gets down to, well, okay, I'll go into the weaknesses in the next match. Let's get into that one. But pretty good first match here. Okay, now with all the, truncated strengths out of the way, my apologies for that. It was a little bit short at the end of that last match, but of course, I record everything live, so even as I am looking at this base right here and moving kind of in a counter or clockwise-ish direction, as much as my plane can kind of do, that is all being recorded. All the audio and videos are being recorded simultaneously. That being said, let's again get into some of these strengths, or rather the weaknesses, being that I got most of the strengths, at least the very important ones, out of the way. So the biggest weakness is, of course, going to be your lack of countermeasures. These are coming for me. Okay, I've never been hit by one, and I'm not going to be starting now. So your lack of countermeasures is a huge problem with this aircraft. I might be able to hit them. Man, why is it that F-14 pilots are so bad at piloting, just like, dodging missiles. They're just awful at it, especially when it comes to just using flares. I've never really seen one that's good at it thus far. It doesn't really matter, though. So, weakness number 2, and you'll probably see it here. Well, you definitely see it here. I don't have any tracers. That is a big, big deal, in my opinion. The lack of tracers really harms your effectiveness with the cannons. And also, your cannons are outboard, as you can see there. Kind of just to the sides of the engine inlets, which sucks. That really is not a good place for them. And it makes it kind of difficult to actually aim. I'm not going to go for him. I'm going for this MiG-20. Well, that's weakness number 3. Is going to be the wings rip tremendously easy. Especially if you're trying to do any, like, negative G maneuvers. Typically, it's not going to result in a complete, like, a catastrophic failure of your aircraft, but it will result in you being pretty much just fish in a barrel for enemies. And so, I guess you can summate, in summation, your weaknesses are going to be lack of tracers, countermeasures, and also wing ripping will be another big problem. But also, when you have longer duration turning events, so, you know, if you're just going to be in a sustained turn for a long period of time, it starts to wear on your aircraft, your energy starts to bleed pretty quickly, so on and so forth. But that being said, I'm not going to count this really as a match, more just as me mentioning the weaknesses, because I'll tell you guys, it is not the easiest thing to go over strengths and weaknesses while you're trying to focus on a match. So that said, let's get into another match, go over some tactics, and maybe I'll do another one after that, but let's see what we can do. This one's kind of a do-over. So with all that out of the way, let's go over some of the tactics that you might want to use with this aircraft, because, of course, tactics more than strengths and weaknesses will help you to succeed when flying it. So that said, of course, you will typically be in an up tier, and that seems to be the case here, as I am in a match with an F-14. Now, up tiers means that you will not be able to fly 3, 4, 5,000 meters up, especially at the beginning of a match, because you will be killed by radar-guided missiles. So Sparrows, AIM-54 Phoenixes, R-23s, R-24s, you name it, you will probably be launched at by everyone on their team and killed by just numerous different planes all trying to kill you all at the same time. Now, that said, you will want to typically fly pretty low to the ground. Now, of course, you can gain altitude mid-match. I don't really know if that's a bad idea, but at the beginning of the match, I would just definitely stay at or below 1,000 or so meters. Even better is if you do not go much above that. Now, a really good... Ooh, I might actually get this kill. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, I got the crit. Works for me. So, that said, you are going to want to use your maneuverability to really, I mean, take this thing to the limit. Now, unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately... I'm just going to fire a missile on him. And I do mean unfortunately, it's that... what's going to happen a lot of the time is that you're going to block out when really trying to use your maneuverability. And that's because, I mean, this thing can pull G's harder than almost any other plane in War Thunder. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal at doing so. And unfortunately, that means that you're probably going to want to spend a lot on upgrading your crew. Oh, he's dead. Maybe he isn't. You're going to need to upgrade your crew, which is nearly 1 million Silver Lions, which is not something that I've got the appetite for personally, so I haven't even done that, even though this is actually, believe it or not, one of my favorite planes in War Thunder. So you really need to make... Ooh, I might get the... Probably not going to... I got the crit, wow. And that's probably going to end up being a kill. Yep. Not too bad. 3 kills right there, kind of avenges my 1 kill match. Anyways, let's just go get into another final match here. Have a little bit of fun. I know I didn't really give a ton of tactics there, but, you know, hopefully at least something's better than nothing. Let's get into one final match. Good news, everyone. I'm in a partial down tier. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm facing Armada team with A5s. Those are 10.0 BR aircraft. The biggest problem with this plane, aside from, of course, its lack of countermeasures, is going to be the fact that it's constantly up-tiered, if you're a 10.3 VR plane, for example, you know, you get down tiered a lot, but at 10.7, you get up tiered a lot, which really sucks. So that said, let's see what we could do against these planes. I don't know what the enemy might have, but hopefully it's not something where it's just fire and forget, constant murder and murder. And hopefully we can do well, because I want this final match to do pretty well. That almost kind of looks like an A10, but I don't see how an A10 would be all the way up here this early. That doesn't really make a ton of sense. No, that's an F-104. Man, that was the worst profile read in history. Oh, I got an enemy. Over top, over top. That is another big problem with this aircraft, in my opinion. It's, 3 kilometers might be a bit far. But it's the fact that you ultimately have to really invest crew points and also training your crew to be expert at the very least in order to really maximize your effectiveness in this plane. Because, as you could see from this gameplay, I'm getting blacked out pretty much all the damn time. And that is a big problem, of course, because if you're getting blacked out so often that you can't do anything, then what's the point of playing in a vehicle? Now, thankfully, I've got my crew mostly trained outside of the fact that they're not experts, which is nice, but of course, it's not a gimme. That was probably a really stupid missile launch, and it was. I really, damn, fudged that up pretty bad. Gonna launch a missile on that F8. Now I've got a Warthog behind me. 3 missiles wasted thus far. Let's go for a 4th. So these missiles typically have pretty good trackers, but they're not amazing. Man, this is a depressing gameplay if I've ever had it. Let's get back on the tail of this guy. Hopefully I can shoot him down. And this is why I absolutely hate the cannons on this aircraft sometimes. Wow. Oh, F5. He is on me. Not for long, though. Okay, got some more F5s. I'm going to probably go for this F1. Maybe I can turn in on this F5. Maybe not. Maybe. Nope. That was stupid of me. I am still alive somehow. Dodging. You know what? Just because I'm dodging all this, I might actually just keep this in the gameplay, because this makes absolutely no sense to me. And like I said, I wanted this to be a fun match, and thus far, this is actually kind of fun for me. So, oh, and I got a crit. And I got a crit. Ooh, and I got one more coming up for me. Okay, I missed him entirely, but I got 2 kills. 2 kills out of that. And there's one guy left. I'm not really sure why I am so slow right now. It's as though my aerodynamic performance has been cut in half, but I really need to regain my speed. But this is what I mean. I was constantly turning, you know, and ultimately it really leads to a lot of engine or speed bleed issues over time, unfortunately, which will just almost slam you into the ground. And that's what I was just facing right there. This guy's gonna... Nope. Okay, he's not facing me. So, ultimately, do I like this plane? I really do. You know, there's a lot of people that absolutely hate the J35, and I know why, but at the same token, I don't really see why. I think it's a much better plane than a lot of people give it credit for. I just really wish it had countermeasures, and I could kind of see it being 10.3, but at 10.3, it would probably be way overpowered. But either way, let me know what you guys think about it, this gameplay and this vehicle in the comments below. I'd like to see your opinions. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Not too bad of a match for flubbing all those missiles.